Welcome back to Netroots Nation 2016, and I am very happy to be the hype man for the one and only Richard RJ Eskow, who is going to take my place in this seat. He's going to take my place in here. I was just sitting in for a second, but Richard's going to be speaking with Katrina Shankland, who is the assistant Democratic leader of the Wisconsin Assembly. We're really honored to have you here. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
And we're going to do this live. It's like a pit stop at an IndyCar race, I think, where we're going to upgrade the tires to the real deal Richard Eskow, who is going to sit in this seat now.
All right, so we've gassed up, we've fueled up, and we're back out on the track. Thank you so much for joining us.
Well, thanks for having me. I appreciate the opportunity.
Now, how's this scene look for Wisconsin in 2016? How does it look for you guys in terms of the upcoming election?
Well, I have some good news. So first of all, legislative Republicans in Wisconsin have an approval rating of about 31%. They have not done the people's work. They've really done the work of special interests. And most of the agenda that we've seen in Madison by legislative Republicans has been focused on keeping their own jobs instead of creating new ones for their constituents. So we think that there will be gains in both the Senate and Assembly. And it's all leading toward 2018 when Governor Walker will finally be up on the ballot again. He's got an approval rate of 38%, and we think that we can restore balance to the legislature by electing a Democratic governor, picking up more seats in the Senate and Assembly, and finally having a legislature that truly represents the people.
And you think you can get those Republicans out of power before 2020 when the redistricting starts to take place?
I do. I mean, redistricting is paramount, and that's the goal. We understand that the majority of voters in Wisconsin do not feel represented. In fact, many of them tell us they feel completely disenfranchised. When you have Republican legislators who are gutting our public schools and working to privatize them through vouchers, they're cutting our UW system by hundreds of millions of dollars. They're failing to invest in our roads, failing to invest in our basic resources and programs, and also devastating our environment and workers' rights and women's rights. We think that, not only is it critical that we pass a nonpartisan redistricting act soon, but also that we have by 2020 Democrats in at least one, if not two, of the houses as a majority, so we can put a check on their almost drunken grabs for power.
Yeah, and by the way, you wore your good Democratic blue today, which we appreciate, as did I, a little lighter shade of Democratic blue. So you guys, of course, you made history a few years ago with the sit-ins in Madison. And by the way, my favorite moment, I think, from that was when the demonstrators in Egypt in Tahrir Square were sending pizza to the demonstrators in Madison. I just thought that was the most awesome thing ever. Were you around for that?
I was there. I actually started out as one of those protesters and activists.
Oh, really?
And I used to work at a renewable energy association, and I spent a lot of my time, especially on the weekends, in the Capitol protesting with like-minded individuals. And I have to say, these people came from all over the state. They were union members, plumbers, electricians, teachers, firefighters, but they were also grandparents, retirees, students, people of all backgrounds. And it was a very powerful moment in the Capitol. And I agree. I had friends sending me pizza from Ian's as well. And when we got the pizza from, protesters in Egypt, it was a very powerful show of solidarity. There are also people from Canada who came to the Capitol to express their solidarity. There are members of unions. And it was an extremely emotional and poignant time. And it really spoke to, one struggle in one state is a struggle for everyone everywhere. And union rights are human rights. And it was, it was the very start of a movement. I think we still have people come to the Capitol every single day at noon, and they sing about the struggle every day without fail from 12 to 1. And what Scott Walker and his Republican cronies were trying to do was crush us, but what they created was a powerful movement.
And that actually brings up a great point, because you come out of movement activism into the Democratic Party, and I really think that to renew, this is my personal opinion, that really the best way to renew party politics is by bringing in movement politics and by making them one and the same, not so that we get more people who wanted to be activists as opposed to people who wanted to just be who had that as their career choice. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but that they get people who came in because of their dedication to a cause.
I agree. I think that the best kind of organizing isn't just organizing on candidates, although that's extremely important, and I can't underscore the importance of elections, but there also needs to be issue advocacy. I think if you look at the values of the Democratic Party and then you look at the values of citizen activists and their movement, and I should say activists as a whole, we share a lot of values, but if someone cares about climate change and that's their number one issue, I would hope that we could bring those climate change activists into the party and make the party a leader on that issue. And same for whether it's immigration rights, women's rights, workers' rights. We really need to organize on issues too. And, I talk all the time about field organizing. Having come from that, I actually, when I was I quit my job at the Renewable Energy Association to be a field organizer to try to kick Scott Walker out of office on the recall. And so I learned a lot about organizing. I organized in a lot of extremely rural communities where people didn't identify as Democrats, but they absolutely were going to vote against Scott Walker.
Absolutely.
And I think it shouldn't just be about a candidate. It should be about the issues, and organizing shouldn't just be for the last 3 months or the last 6 months of a campaign. It should be year-round on issues that people care about.
I couldn't agree with you more. So where can people go to find out? I mean, I'm sure we've got some people listening in Wisconsin now. Where can people go to find out more about what you guys are doing?
So, first of all, both legislative committees are working really hard to pick up seats in the Senate and Assembly in Wisconsin. So, the Assembly Democratic Campaign Committee and the Senate Democratic Campaign Committee are the places to start there. The Democratic Party of Wisconsin is very committed to being inclusive and helping volunteers and people who want to be activists find a spot in the party. So, I would recommend starting there. There's also, if you're interested in running for office, there's a lot of good groups working on that, and I do think we need more people from diverse backgrounds to be in office. I'm a young person in office. I try to recruit as many young people, women, people of color to run for office as well. So there's Emerge Wisconsin, Wisconsin Progress. I would recommend those for people interested in maybe running for office on the local or state level to really get involved, because the struggles that we have in Wisconsin for working men and women are significant, and we need to build a large progressive bench so that we can really take back our government from the far-right special interests and wealthy, powerful elite who've really taken over our state.
Well, that's awesome. And let me, I'm sorry, because since they bailed me in again, so thanks so much for joining us, Katrina Shankland. And you guys are doing great work. I'm really excited about what you're doing. I'm glad you're here.
Well, thank you so much, and thank you for all the work that you do.